Hello. Today what we're going to be doing, this is a video icon that you have on your homework. So this is kind of homework help video where you could use this while you're doing your homework in case you forgot how to work them out. So basically, whenever you see this icon here in the corner on your homework, that means there will be a video in Google Classroom. So make sure you look for that in case you need that extra help. So we're going to start by reading the directions and then go on to the examples. So convert from decimal to fraction. Read each decimal. Write this decimal as a fraction in simplest form. So as we taught you in class, you were supposed to write it, read it, write it, and simplify it, and that's what we're going to do on the example. So here's example 1. Write 0.320 as a fraction. So remember, we had to find out or read it as a decimal. The way we read it is we look for the place value. So we know the first one is tenths, then it's hundreds, and then it's thousands. Now this 0, you don't need to include it because it's at the end, so it doesn't make any difference for it. So then we are going to look at only the 2. So the 2 falls in the hundreds place, so we would read it as 32 hundredths. And remember, you have your place value chart in your composition book where you could look at the place value and make sure that you have it in the correct, or you're reading it correctly. Then it says to write it. So you're writing as a number. And when we write as a number, we're writing it as a fraction. So it'll be 32 over 100. Now we're going to simplify it. That means that we're reducing it, we're simplifying it. So what we need to do, we find a number that's divisible into both of those numbers. So because it is even, you have a 2 and a 0, that means that it is divisible by 2. So we're going to divide it by 2. So 32 divided by 2 is going to give you 16. And 100 divided by 2 will give you 50. Now again, we still have numbers that are even, so that means I could actually simplify it again. And we're going to simplify it by dividing it by 2 again. So divided by 2. So in this case, we have 16 divided by 2 is 8. 50 divided by 2 is 25. So it's no longer even, so that means my number is a 25th. So all this means is that when we're writing out our numbers, it's going to be 32 hundredths is equivalent to 8/25 as a fraction, and that would be your answer. Example 2 has another number. Now this has a whole number. Remember, a whole number, when you're writing that as a fraction, it stays as a whole number. You don't need to write it over a fraction, over a number. It just stays that way. So in this case, it says write 6.95 as a mixed number. Again, we're looking at the whole number stays the same, so we got that already. That's correct. The next numbers, you have to look at the place value after the decimal. So that would be 9 is in the 10th place, and 5 is in the hundredths place. So we would read it as 6, and is for the decimal, 95 hundredths. Now we're going to write it as a fraction. Now, because this is a mixed number, we're writing it as a mixed number, not necessarily a fraction. So we have 6, this whole number stays the same, and then we write 95 over 100. Now we're going to simplify it, and we simplify it just by looking at the last numbers. Now, okay, so we're going to write it as 95 over 100. Now, because they end in 5 and 0, then that means it's divisible by 5. So 95 divided by 5, we're going to get 19, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So when we're writing out this equivalence, we're going to say 6 and 95 hundredths is equivalent to 6 and 19 over 20. So hope this video helps. If not, go ahead and watch the other videos on Google Classroom. Look for converting decimals to fraction, and that should be okay. Have a good homework.